When I think about Naruto's situation right now, I'm convinced the most dangerous place for him isn't the battlefield, or even the Ten Tails Jaws. It's the space Kawaki believes is the perfect safe. Daikokuten looks like absolute protection. Time is frozen, and only the owner of the ability can open it. The more convinced Kawaki becomes that he has everything under control, the easier it'll be for Jura to make him slip up. And I'll explain exactly why in just a moment. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe. Around 87% of the people who watch my videos still aren't subscribed. I'd really appreciate your support because I'm working hard to reach 1,000 subscribers. Now let's dive into the discussion. If Jura manages to take him, it'll be the ultimate judgment of Kawaki's philosophy. Security without trust eventually becomes a prison, and every prison has a weak point waiting to be found. What scares me about Jura isn't that he can fire a tailed beast bomb from his eye. At this point, the Naruto universe has given us plenty of incredible powers. What scares me is that he doesn't rush. He reads books, asks questions, and chooses his targets with almost childlike curiosity. We're not looking at a villain who's only here for a single arc. We're looking at someone capable of building a trap and patiently waiting for the perfect reaction. That's why I think we need to take his Rinnegan seriously and really try to understand it. The Rinnegan almost never works the same way for different users. Madara had Limbo, while Sasuke awakened Amenotejikara. The Rinnegan reflects the nature of its wielder. That means Jura's Rinnegan should reveal the condensed will of the Ten Tails and the lingering memory of Shibai. Look at the way he attacks. He doesn't simply create a tailed beast bomb with his hands. He compresses it and forces it through them, constantly changing its form, from a sphere into an impossibly thin beam. His power is compressed to an unbelievable density. If Ishiki's power of miniaturization somehow influenced the Ten Tails, then Jura may have inherited a mirrored ability, not shrinking objects, but compressing the space around a target. Daikokuten is presented as a pocket dimension where time doesn't flow. It sounds completely untouchable, but every space-time technique has a moment of weakness. As long as the door stays closed, you're just arguing with a wall. But the moment it opens, that's when you have a chance to act. The canon has already shown us something similar. Obito and Sakura used Kamui as a way to locate Kaguya's dimensions, by synchronizing with the dimensional rifts she created. A sealed world isn't truly sealed forever, if its owner opens a path to the outside themselves. For Daikokuten, that feels less like a theory and more like a warning, one Kawaki still hasn't realized. That's why I think Jura's Rinnegan ability isn't about destruction, it's about resonance. Maybe his Rinnegan can detect the density of chakra at the exact point where a dimensional gateway opens, allowing him to see, not the object itself, but the route leading to it. Jura reads the unique frequency of that opening, compresses his chakra into something as thin as a needle, locks onto the coordinates, and pushes access through that point. In this scenario, the door isn't broken down. It's simply copied. Without realizing it, Kawaki would be the one helping his enemy unlock Naruto's safe. And this is where the most interesting part of my theory begins. Kawaki has always relied on his body to solve problems before his mind does. Whenever he's afraid, his instinct is simple. Use more power. Against Jura, that habit won't be an advantage. It'll become the bait. We've already seen hints of this in the latest chapters. When Kawaki rushes toward Boruto among the divine trees, it doesn't feel like the hatred of someone who's already won. Jura is an analyst, and in the previous chapters, just by watching Kawaki's reactions to his questions, he figured out that Naruto is still alive and hidden somewhere. Kawaki keeps giving himself away, and he doesn't even realize he's doing it. He could calmly say something like, "I know the seventh is alive. You've hidden him somewhere very interesting." At that point, the battle stops being just a battle. Kawaki no longer hears an enemy. He hears a threat to the home he's built around Naruto. He'll open the door himself. The dimensional rift opens. The air suddenly feels heavy. Kawaki wears that familiar expression of confidence. Jura emerges through the black mark he previously left on Kawaki, activates his Rinnegan, and begins the process of locking onto the connection. If his ability really is tied to spatial gravity, he could latch onto the edge of the dimensional passage, much like Sasuke used Amenotejikara to anchor positions. Inside Daikokuten, time stands still. But for a being carrying both Otsutsuki heritage and the essence of the Ten Tails, that might not be a prison at all. It could be nothing more than a hallway. He might even use the roots of the divine tree to reach Naruto. The biggest consequence would be that Kawaki finally realizes something he's refused to accept all this time. Loving Naruto doesn't automatically make him right. Instead of protecting his father, he would have put him in even greater danger. And for the first time, that mask of cold determination might finally shatter completely. If Jura reaches Naruto, I don't think he'll absorb him right away. He doesn't need a trophy. He needs answers. My prediction is simple. Jura won't smash his way into Daikokuten with brute force. He'll make Kawaki, show him where the doorknob is. But what do you think? Will Jura steal Naruto, or will he strike through someone else instead?